Hey everyone, welcome to Death Valley Discoveries episode 15. Real happy to be back here. It is December of 2024. It's actually 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's real nice out. You can see I'm in a t-shirt. Beautiful weather. It will be getting colder, of course, as the sun goes down in a couple hours. But right here, I'm walking around the eastern side of Death Valley Buttes and heading to the northern side. I'm heading into the Grapevine Mountains for what's really a special episode, and that is because this entire episode I'm doing exploration. Usually on past episodes I'm always just taking you back to some of my favorite discoveries and discoveries made by my friends and park staff. But this episode, I'm taking you on a hike that I've had in the planning stages for 5 years. So this is gonna be really fun and exciting for me. And I'm taking everyone along with me on this one. I'll talk more about the objectives later. Right now, just for tonight, for this afternoon, I'm gonna be doing about 5 miles to get to where I wanna camp. Hopefully take me like 3 hours maybe. And let's see, I'm carrying 2 gallons of water. But yeah, I'm just trying to work my way into the Grapevine Mountains. Corkscrew Peak is off to my right, but I'm aiming a little bit away from that. So yeah, I'll tell you more as I progress. Here's the view looking over toward Death Valley Buttes off to my left. And as I continue up this wash, that is Corkscrew Peak at the upper right. So I'm kind of working my way in between those 2 major Death Valley summits. And the very first thing I had to do is get up to this on top of this small hillside. Kind of like a mini pass up here. Got to climb up to. Climbing this hillside here. Very easy. You can see one of the Death Valley Buttes right there blocking the sun out. Let me just show you a quick view from this small hillside I climbed up. That's looking back to where I was dropped off. Here's the Death Valley Buttes, gonna be blinded by the sun there. And over into the Grapevines here and Corkscrew Peak there at the top right. I'm gonna head down into this canyon. The first part of the hike from where I was dropped off to where I turned north into a canyon is about 2 miles total. Got a gallon here I'm carrying, plus a gallon in my bag. Because this is just a 1.5 day backpack, or even less than that, I don't need my typical 2.5 to 3 gallons. Plus it's gonna be cold at night. Just taking a sheep trail here. Gonna hop down into this wash here in a moment. The route I'm doing it as a one-way hike. I actually had to arrange the shuttle with Ferrabees to be dropped off by Death Valley Buttes. And I parked down on the North Highway. So eventually I'll be working my way back down to my vehicle tomorrow. It's kind of nice, I don't have to backtrack at all on this special trip of discovery. As you can see, I'm down in the wash, enjoying a nice easy hike so far. And I got Death Valley Buttes right off to my left. Walking the sun just enough so I can see the view of the peak up there. And there's the edge of the Grapevine Mountains. I'm gonna be heading down this way and turning right into a canyon here in a little while. Some really nice views here as I hike down this canyon. No sign of any footprints except for lots of sheep, and bighorn sheep do love this area of the Grapevines. There's frequent sightings for people who are doing things like going to Corkscrew Peak and hiking around the base of it, hiking around this Death Valley Buttes area. So who knows if I'll see some. But yeah, I'm really happy to be back here in my element, which is exploring and trying to make discoveries. That's what this video series is all about, and I spent the first 14 episodes taking you back to some of my beloved places, and I'll be doing more of that, of course. But this is a unique episode in that I'm seeing everything I'm seeing is new to me. So, and I got some specific areas I've been waiting to check out, as I said, for about 5 years. Just never got around to it. A lot of my hikes were kind of that way, where I'd do a lot of research, study satellite imagery and maps, come up with some potential interesting canyons or places to check out, and then I just don't get around to it for a long time. But really happy to be out here. This is solo. I prefer hiking with friends, but happy nonetheless to be here in Death Valley exploring remote places. Look how nice this terrain is here. Very wide wash with nice ground. Such an easy first couple miles here. Just blasting it out, but enjoying the views looking out toward Mesquite Flat and the Cottonwoods as well. Really quick progress. What I did is I got out of that canyon and I'm doing a little crossover here. I'm heading straight up this way. You can see in the distance just below that next hillside, I'm going to turn north and head up a canyon there. A little bit of a rough crossing, but these drainages are small. It's nothing compared to what I'm used to doing. Looks like there will be some nice terrain going up the other side there. Here's that really nice terrain I was talking about on the other side. I get to climb up this for a while. Can't beat this. Really nice view there of Death Valley Buttes behind me as I climb up this gentle grade and get into the canyon I'm targeting for tonight. This is not the main feature of the hike. That will come tomorrow. So today I'm just kind of working my way through washes and up a canyon to set myself up for tomorrow's exciting day. Really cool view here in between Upper Death Valley Butte on the left, Lower Death Valley Butte on the right, and Tuckeye Mountain right center. So below Tuckeye Mountain down there you can actually see the Mesquite sand dunes. Made it into that northern canyon. You can see my shadow down there in the wash. Got about an hour of daylight left, but I'm up on a bench here above the wash just to make it a little easier. One of the things I did not anticipate was having such a great view of Corkscrew Peak, the backside, and that's cool. That's making this day awesome. This short day, having these views. I'm sure they're going to get even better as I go around the next bend. This hike really is off to a great start. Here doing this short afternoon/evening on day one, but already have these great views of seeing unique angles of Death Valley Buttes and Corkscrew Peak ahead of me, which continues to grow. I'll show you that in a few minutes. But yeah, as I said, I hadn't anticipated having great views. I didn't know there'd be anything interesting here on the first day. But this is cool. Very, very happy with how this has started. Here's a good view of this northern canyon I'm hiking up. And you can see nice wash, easy hiking. Continues to be how things are. Of course, this is the view right here, directly in the center, that I'm finding so awe-inspiring. The backside of Corkscrew Peak. In fact, let me stop here for a moment and just zoom in and look closer here at Corkscrew Peak and that also impressive peak to the left side of it. So my canyon's kind of heading up between those two. But yeah, look at how amazing this looks from here. What a special vantage point to come across. Just so many nice hillsides and mountains up ahead. Very pretty area. Actually, the cliffs, the reddish cliffs you see straight in the middle here, my target canyon for tomorrow is below those. So I'll be hiking down below those cliffs of that unnamed summit. Really nice lighting out right now. Beautiful time of day. About an hour of daylight left. Got a mile and a half to do to get to camp. And one of the things I just realized, and it's funny, sometimes you don't notice this, is that there's no wind. Kind of just take it for granted. Oh, it's a nice calm day out here in Death Valley. But since that's rarely the case, I need to show my appreciation. And it's always makes the hiking easier. And of course, camp life better, especially when trying to set up a tent. Actually, before shadows fully envelop Corkscrew Peak in the middle there, let me zoom in and get you one last view of what it looks like. Again, really neat to see this from the back side. Hikers don't usually go back here, so they don't see this side of Corkscrew Peak. And of course, having hiked to the summit before from the normal route, it's neat to be passing by this backside. Here are my current views looking back toward Death Valley Buttes. And look at this. I'm going to zoom in. Corkscrew Peak's view is even more incredible. Just the face, the cliffs that drop down from the summit. And I'm actually going to be just heading a little bit more up this canyon and potentially camping at a spot with an even better view than this. Let me take a moment to show a sunset view of Death Valley Buttes, the upper butte. And yeah, what an incredible view. It makes the summit look really special looking at it from this side, an angle that hikers, very few have no doubt seen before. But yeah, zooming in a couple times here, as you could see, very impressive. Taking a moment to show the beautiful sunset here. The sky is very pretty tonight. As you can see, I'm inside my tent now. I've just gotten everything set up. It's dark out now. It's about 6 o'clock in the evening and my meal is ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat that. But everything went well today. Real easy day, just a few hours of hiking, and did about 5 miles to get up here at the southern face of Corkscrew Peak, the canyon or wash that kind of leads up to that southern face. Tomorrow when I wake up, the real hike begins, the reason I came out here, and that's a canyon that I kind of nicknamed the Gouge. I know it has a kind of a funny name, but it kind of matches the crack, which is just over in the distance there in the funerals. But the Gouge looked like a really interesting canyon, looked like just a gouge taken out of the mountainside. And so I'm going to be checking that out, and then also turning and going into a place I nicknamed the Lost Basin because it is so remote. I'm sure hardly anybody's ever been in there, but excited to see these places tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to eat my dinner, so good night, and I will see you in the morning. Good morning, welcome to day 2 here in the Grapevine Mountains. I've woken up, you can see Corkscrew Peak behind me, but I'm just about to pack up camp in my tent. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Of course, it was a long, cold night, but that's to be expected here in December. I was warm though. But as soon as I pack up camp, I'm gonna be turning up this small drainage and just doing a real basic, easy scramble up to a pass there. and that will drop me into the canyon area that I nicknamed the Gouge. So, real excited about today. It's going to be a fun day, and I'm ready for some exploration here in the Grapevines. The sun has just come out and it's warming up quickly. Turning out of my wash here, climbing up this little bank, and this is how the hike starts. Heading up toward this little pass. Shouldn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes to get up to that little ridge up there. Then the fun begins. Just about finished climbing up this little pass to this pass. That's looking back, and let me show you the first view I'm going to get here down the other side. Oh, very colorful. The first thing I notice. Oh yeah, very, very colorful. Wow. Look this way. Look at these canyon walls down here. Almost look like they're naturally painted. Okay, it's time. I'm standing here at the pass ready to drop into this canyon I nicknamed the Gouge. And if you're wondering exactly where I am here in the Grapevines, there's a peak up there that's 3689T on the topo map. Working my way down these slopes here. Bit steep and slow going. This is what I'm going down right now. I got down from that slope. Took a bit of time to get down that. It was pretty steep and loose. But I've reached the canyon here. You can see the colorful walls behind me that I'm going to go down. Now remember, 5 years ago when I began planning this hike, I nicknamed this area the Gouge, this canyon. We'll see if that sticks by the time I hike through it. Also, there did appear to possibly be 1 or 2 major dry falls through this. So if so, I'll need to backtrack and then go around it, which looked like I could do fairly easily. So let's go ahead and go into this colorful canyon and check it out. Time for some exploration. As expected, I did come to a massive dry fall drop off, standing here at the top right now. So I'm just going to backtrack a little bit up this canyon, which as you've seen so far has been truly spectacular. I've never seen a canyon quite like this, just with all the variety of colors on the walls. It really looks like it's painted. I'm just to the right of the dry fall, kind of looking down canyon a bit. And I can't believe the size of that wall in the distance. That right there is why I called this place the Gouge, because it's just a huge gouge in the mountainside. Just sheer cliffs, so colorful. Can't wait to see more. I want to show you this view as I've climbed up above the canyon. These are the upper narrows, which are more shallow. What a view from right here. And then the dry fall is actually just below me right here. And then there's those epic cliffs I told you about. Look at this view, looking down this canyon. What a special place. I'm just gonna walk along the rim up here. Look at some of these views. Look at this. Getting my first view down canyon here. Continues to be epic here. And it looks like I will be able to get back into the canyon down here and come back up. I have to say, only a little bit through this hike, but this hike is a major success. Really love this canyon. And it's going to be fully accessible after doing this bypass. Looks like I'm going to be able to see everything. But it's such a pretty epic canyon. Just colors just everywhere, and these sheer cliffs, the patterns, color patterns on the walls. Really blown away. Can't believe how special this place is. I'm gonna go ahead and drop my pack now. I got back into the wash of this canyon, and I'm gonna hike up to that impressive dry fall and check that out. You know, as I'm looking at all these colors and patterns, I'm almost thinking I should call this place Collage Canyon, because it really is a collage of colors in here. And you know, it's kind of neat here. I planned and researched this hike and let it sit for 5 years, but it makes it all the more special to come in here and find this, and to think that the Grapevines held one final secret or discovery that I can make that was really special to me. Getting back into this exploration really paid off today. Very neat canyon walls right here. Look at this rock, how it's so flat, just sticking out of the canyon wall. This one as well. Oh my goodness, look at these. Look at this display here on the canyon wall. Absolutely love this. There's so much to see in here. The way the white comes down this, it just almost looks like dripping or flowing paint coming down the mountain. This is just so cool. I've just about worked my way up the canyon to the dry fall. Look at this spot where this boulder up there is overhanging greatly and gonna fall down someday into the canyon here. These are the walls leading up to the dry fall. Right here is the dry fall. I was at the top of that half an hour ago or so. Really neat dry fall here. Trying to estimate the height. I would say it's about 40 feet high. Looks like the rock type is changing as I head down canyon. These shapes are kind of neat right here. Look at how that rock is sticking up and all these twisted layers here. That's pretty neat. Quickly ran into a couple smaller dry falls that I can climb down as I'm going through a little bit of narrows here. Impressive. Check this out. Climb down a couple minor dry falls, continuing down these second narrows. Totally different but interesting. Again, look at this rock. Can't believe how twisted the layers are. Neat little dry fall here. Canyon has gotten quite shallow through here. I've still got about a mile to go to get to the junction. Neat little spot in the canyon here. That looks like I can get down pretty easily. Let me draw your attention to what I call these twisted layers right here. Look how the layers go up in this direction and then just completely turn right here. Just turned a corner and have this great view of the Grapevine Mountains. Really cool spot looking down this canyon and looking at those high cliffs of the Grapevines there in the distance. Got a little bit of a wider wash here with these views of the Grapevines. More twisted rock coming up just in front of me. But I was just wondering what you think of my canyon names, my options. I have the Gouge, which was my original idea just based on satellite imagery. But now once I'm in this canyon, I came up with Pattern Canyon, Collage Canyon, and Twisted Canyon. And I think I'm going with Collage because it's such a good description of those main, most spectacular narrows where you had the collage of colors, patterns, shapes there on the canyon wall, even some mini slicken sides. Just so much to see there in those upper narrows. As you can see, the canyon is much more wide open down here. So I'm heading down toward that junction. Just tons of sheep footprints in the wash. They definitely like this canyon. It keeps them isolated from people, that's for sure. So neat, I could get into such a remote area of the Grapevines without much effort. Hikers have never documented this area I'm hiking through. It's just a little bit too far and random for a hiker to come check out. Just about gonna jump out of this canyon, this wide wash. I'll be taking this canyon out later to the North Highway to wrap up this hike, but before then, I'm going to be turning off to the right here in just a moment, kind of cutting over to another canyon. I've reached the area where I'm going to be hiking up this next canyon, hiking up towards these cliffs that you can see in the background. Now below those cliffs is an area that I just kind of nicknamed the Lost Basin, just because it's so remote. Actually, this spot right here where I'm at, it's from here it's 6 miles down to my vehicle parked on the North Highway, and if I was to go back where I came from, it's about 7 miles back to the parking area for Death Valley Buttes. So yeah, this area is very remote, and then it's 1.5 miles up if the canyon goes through. That's the big unknown. It looked pretty rugged with some rock fall and possible dry falls and stuff like that. So we'll see how far I can get up it. I do have to watch my time because I'm going to a special dinner tonight with Death Valley Park staff. Got to make sure I'm on time for that. But I have 2.5 hours to explore up this and come back to this spot, and then 3 hours to get down to my vehicle. So I should be able to see everything I want to. We'll just see how far I can get. You can see how this canyon starts to take shape here. Little dry fall ahead I'm going to climb. So it's starting out easy. And then, of course, the background cliffs. Trying to get as close to those as I can. The canyon continues to take shape with some higher conglomerate walls here on the left side. It's looking really nice so far. Again, just thinking about how I'm about 6.5 miles from the North Highway right here. And that's why random hikers wouldn't come up here and check it out. It's just too far. So this is cool to be back doing some exploration again. Nice colorful orangish rock there. You can see the towering canyon walls here as the grade of the canyon gets steeper ahead. Look at this bouldering section. Huge boulders in the wash. Continuing up canyon steeply. Little climbs here and there. Wouldn't take much to put a stop to progress in this canyon. This right here shows you what it's been like lately. Climbing through here. Nothing but boulders. Canyon is very, very rugged. I'm also seeing just loads of rock nettle on the ground. Navigating around boulders nonstop. Passing by a massive section of brush right here in the canyon. Just off to the side though, it doesn't impede progress. However, up ahead, I'm seeing some narrows, which will likely end in a major dry fall. Wow, the signs of sheep here, so extensive. My goodness. Sheep absolutely love this spot. Check this out. I figured out why the sheep absolutely love this spot. There's actually a spring here. We've got surface water. Got water flowing a little bit through here. And it's actually dripping right here. Look at this. Really unexpected. I remember seeing all that brush on satellite imagery and actually wondering if there was a spring here, but to find surface water and water dripping out of the rock right here in the grapevines, just like I said, so much signs of sheep with all the droppings. I've never seen so many in one place. So you can see why they all gather to this place, to this secret spring. One more look here. I'm going to try to go a little farther up canyon, but yeah, that made this whole, coming up this whole other canyon worth it to find that secret spring. Really cool to see how the water was coming out and providing water for the sheep here. Again, the amount of sheep droppings in here, the most I've ever seen in one place in Death Valley. So that's kind of saying something. The sheep, of course, know all the secret spots where they can get water as they go through this range here in the Grapevines, but it's neat to find one of their secret spots. They're not here right now, which I guess is kind of good. I wouldn't want to disturb them as they're resting and getting water, but it still would be cool to see them. Yeah, I think I might call this Secret Spring Canyon. Here's a view looking down canyon. Just climbed this little dry fall here, was easy. And now heading into some narrows right here. This will be kind of cool. Let's see how far I can actually get in these narrows. I'm guessing not far because they're absolutely towering. Wow, these are some cool narrows. Look at this. Wasn't expecting to find this here. Oh my goodness. Look how epic that is. Naturally, as I was expecting, a major dry fall right here. Wow. Let me show this to you. Very worth it to come to this spot and see this dry fall. It's quite gorgeous. Here at the base of the dry fall, looking straight up it. Here you go, canyoneers. I don't think you've done this one. Look as well at the nice narrows, how cool it is looking back right here. Really nice rock through here. This is very pretty. As you can see here, I've climbed up out of the canyon on the right side, just before the narrows. Fairly easy climb up so far. Since I got the time, I'm just going to see if I can bypass that dry fall. I did indeed make it up this bypass. You can see right here what I climbed up. Steeper and steeper. I was able to make it though. This is really cool. I'm at the top of that dry fall. Actually, there's another dry fall right here, but the main dry fall is right over here. This is a nice view here of that second dry fall. You can see it's a double. The right side is a steep chute, vertical chute, and the left side is just kind of a gentle chute going down. I scrambled down to take a look at that second double dry fall, twin dry falls, but also mainly so I could come over here and look over the edge here at this main dry fall. I'll stick my pole out so I can see what it looks like. Continuing on, easy bypass slope there on the right, but right here, and I actually spotted this on satellite imagery. I knew this was coming. I didn't know the last dry fall was coming, but look at this chalkstone dry fall. You can see what I'm continuing to climb through here, about a half mile from my ultimate destination, where I was hoping to get to. These boulders fell such a long time ago that, see how this chute has naturally eroded in this boulder for water flow coming down the canyon. Neat spot in the canyon here. Just the cliffs above and these boulders that have fallen in right here. Another boulder blockade dry fall. Look at how rugged this place is getting. Non-stop boulder dry falls. Had to do a couple more bypasses. Nothing major, but this is slow going. I'm continuing on because I can see my end point just ahead. Less than a third of a mile away. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this hike. Really neat canyon wall overhanging right here on the right side. It's always a little bit eerie to walk under an overhanging canyon wall with cracks. Yet another minor dry fall I had to climb as I continue up canyon in the far upper reaches of the canyon. You can see this is not a hiker friendly canyon. Nothing but bouldering, bypassing, climbing, dealing with hard terrain. Some vivid orangish red colors here on the canyon wall. And just ahead, see in the distance there with what I call the Lost Basin. Let's get up there and then I'll tell you about it. All right, I made it here. That was quite the adventure climb. Climbing up that boulder-filled canyon. But I made it to the area I call the Lost Basin, and this was my planned turnaround point. I didn't really think I could get this far, so I'm impressed that I was able to make it and that there were no major obstacles that stopped me, although it came close a few times. Let me show you around the Lost Basin. So this is looking down the canyon I just came up and the slope I had to climb up here to get to this vantage point. Now I'm going to circle around and show you here 4 canyons. Right here is the first one, major dry fall coming down from the canyon up above there. And then here's the second one just off to the right, and that's the canyon, actually the main canyon kind of that I was heading up if I was to continue, but I'm not even thinking about that. Here's the next canyon. It comes down here in this drainage. And then the 4th canyon goes up this way, right up there to that ridge. I could probably scramble my way up there, but again, looking here, circling around one last time what I call the Lost Basin, just because I don't know who, if anyone's ever been up here. I don't even think canyoneers have done any of these, but that's what I call an adventure hike. Just got back to where I left my pack, took a little snack break, and continuing on down, heading out toward the North Highway where my vehicle is parked, and that is 6 miles away. So as far as the Lost Basin, that canyon I just went up, it was worth it to hike up and see what I call Secret Spring. There where the Bighorn are getting water, where there's flowing and dripping water there for them. That was a neat spot. And then also the Narrows just beyond with that major dry fall. So that was totally worth doing. Now going beyond that was a scrambling and climbing nightmare with 5 bypasses, 1 major and 4 minor bypasses. So I don't deem that worthwhile. It was for me because I wanted to see it. I always wanted to see what was up there, but I mean as far as going back or whether or not I think it's worth it for other hikers. But still, for the spring and for the Narrows and dry fall, totally worth it. But now I've got to blast off these 6 miles. I only got 2 hours and 10 minutes to do them, so I'm just going to focus on hiking, show you a little bit of scenery, and I have a dinner party to get to tonight here in Death Valley, so I got to make good time now. Looking back, I can see the junction. I've just come down and these canyons have merged to the left, what I call Secret Spring Canyon, to the right, what I'm going to call Collage Canyon. And as they merge into this giant wash heading down, toward the North Highway. You can see we got some foothills of the Grapevines on each side of me as I hike down. Enjoying this scenery. A new section of the Grapevines just kind of opened up here to my right as I was passing by. Looks pretty cool. Nice hillsides up there. And looking on out, view out toward Mesquite Flat, about 2 miles to go to the vehicle, but I wanted to show you the views here. Death Valley Buttes right there. I'll zoom in for a moment. You can see them from this angle. Nice unique view here of Death Valley Buttes. Then continuing around, there's the canyon I came out of. And just over here, just 1.5 miles further from where I'm standing, is the wash that comes down from the mouth of Titanothere Canyon. And look back here. Let me zoom in on this view of Thimble Peak. Looks really neat from right here. This hike is just about finished. And actually, as I look over to the cottonwoods, the sun is just about to dip over the ridgeline there, over the top of the mountains. And it's only 4:15 p.m. So amazing sunset here in the Grapevines at 4:15 p.m. And I'm just a few, maybe 10 minutes from my vehicle parked on the North Highway as I pass through the Kit Fox Hills here on my way out of here. But I just wanted to wrap things up and thank you for joining me for this episode of Death Valley Discoveries. It was a total exploration, backpack / hike, so that was cool. Had a lot of fun and saw some neat things. Really enjoyed finally checking out these places I've been looking to see for some time now. And so that'll do it. I'll be back with episode 16, which I'm about to film with my friend Gia. So you can look forward to more episodes of Death Valley Discovery soon. All right, catch you later. Thank you.